I do think it's incredible how strong and how you've been able to cope, really. And I put that down to your really early years, childhood experience, but also the relationship that you've got. You're amazingly close.
For 2 years, they kept the world in the dark. Quiet conversations behind palace walls. Private battles they refused to share. A royal couple that had mastered the art of silence. But something has shifted. Something has finally broken. From a hidden cancer fight that stunned the world to speaking out on one of the biggest royal scandals in history. William and Catherine are no longer hiding. The doors are opening. The truth is coming out. And what's being revealed, no one saw coming. The cancer they kept secret for months, and what it truly cost them. Let's start at the beginning of this story, because nothing shattered the carefully built wall around William and Catherine like that diagnosis. In January 2024, Kensington Palace released a short, clinical statement saying Catherine had undergone planned abdominal surgery. It was described as routine, controlled, nothing to worry about. That's what the public was told. But behind palace walls, the reality was far more serious. Post-surgery tests revealed malignant cells. A diagnosis that was sudden, personal, and devastating for the princess and her family. For weeks, almost no information was shared. Speculation exploded. Social media went into overdrive. People kept asking, where is she? Is she really okay? Conspiracy theories flooded TikTok and YouTube. But the palace stayed silent. And that silence backfired. Then came March 2024. A simple video filmed on a garden bench. Kate, visibly thinner but composed, spoke directly to the camera in a way the royal family rarely does. She confirmed she had cancer. She revealed she was undergoing preventative chemotherapy. And she asked for time, privacy, and space to heal. The world stopped. What made that moment powerful wasn't just the diagnosis, it was the honesty. It broke royal tradition, showing emotion and vulnerability in a way that connected with millions of people. At the same time, William stepped back from almost all public duties. He canceled engagements and disappeared from the royal calendar. For a man once criticized for not doing enough, this was a complete shift. But this time, no one questioned it. Because behind closed doors, he wasn't a prince. He was a husband, a father, a human being holding his family together. In an interview in Brazil, William admitted how hard it was to tell their children, George, Charlotte, and Louis. He said there's no manual for being a parent. He explained that he and Catherine chose to communicate more openly with their children during that time. The secret they carried and then couldn't hide anymore marked the beginning of a new, more open chapter in their lives. The remission announcement and the woman Catherine became. On January 14, 2025, Kate shared a message on social media. She said she was in remission and focused on recovery. The world breathed again, but those expecting her to return as the same perfectly polished royal were surprised. Kate openly admitted that life after treatment was incredibly difficult. During a hospital visit in Essex, she spoke honestly with patients. She said you put on a brave face during treatment, thinking once it's over, you'll return to normal. But the phase afterward is much harder than expected. This wasn't the carefully managed royal image people were used to. This was real, raw, and unfiltered. Even her lifestyle changed. During a visit to a brewery in London in March 2026, she declined to drink, saying she had become far more conscious about alcohol since her diagnosis. A small moment, but a meaningful one. She also spoke about the role of nature in her healing. Her Mother Nature video series in 2025 became a deeply personal reflection of that journey. Early morning walks, time outdoors, quiet moments all became part of her recovery. On her 44th birthday in 2026, she shared the final part of that series, describing it as a personal reflection on healing and the power of nature. The experience changed her. She became calmer, more grounded, more real. And people noticed. The Andrew scandal they could no longer ignore. For years, William and Catherine stayed silent on the Prince Andrew controversy. Their approach was simple. Say nothing, do nothing. Let the institution handle it. But in early 2026, that changed. When millions of documents were released by the U.S. Justice Department, detailing Andrew's connections to Jeffrey Epstein, silence was no longer an option. For the first time, Kensington Palace issued a statement. William and Catherine expressed deep concern and made it clear their thoughts were with the victims. It was a small statement, but a major shift. The timing mattered. It came during William's official visit to Saudi Arabia, showing this was a deliberate decision, not a rushed reaction. The message was clear. They were distancing themselves from the scandal. Behind the scenes, this positioning had been building for months. King Charles had already stripped Andrew of his royal titles and removed him from Royal Lodge. William had reportedly pushed for stronger action for years. He understands one thing clearly. The monarchy survives on public trust. And that trust cannot exist if the institution protects controversy. Breaking their silence wasn't accidental. It was strategy. A clear line drawn between the future of the monarchy and its past mistakes. The private couple who became unexpectedly open online. For most of their public life, William and Catherine controlled their image carefully. Limited appearances, polished moments, and only a few staged photos. Then, in 2025, everything shifted. Their New Year post for 2026 included 12 personal photos from the past year. It gained massive engagement, far more than other royal accounts. But what stood out wasn't just the numbers, it was the approach. They shared only one photo of their children, keeping a clear boundary between public life and private family moments. Their content became more personal, more relatable. William spoke openly about parenting during crisis. Catherine shared her healing journey. She even began signing posts with a simple C, signaling a personal touch instead of a PR voice. This shift was intentional. They understand modern audiences. In today's world, connection matters more than perfection. The future king and queen already stepping into power. William and Catherine aren't just preparing quietly. They're already stepping into their future roles. In 2026, they are expected to begin issuing royal warrants, a major responsibility traditionally held by the monarch. Their royal foundation has grown significantly, raising millions and expanding its global impact. The Earthshot Prize alone brought in substantial funding, positioning William as a major figure in environmental leadership. Their work spans mental health, homelessness, early childhood development, conservation, and community programs. These are not symbolic efforts. They are structured, funded, and built for long-term impact. They aren't waiting for the crown. They are preparing for it. The children they protected, and why George's role is changing. For years, their children stayed mostly out of the spotlight. Public appearances were limited and carefully controlled. But things began to change in 2025, and even more in 2026. Princess Charlotte appeared alongside William at a major football final, showing confidence and natural ease in public. Prince George has also begun stepping into small but meaningful roles, including interactions with veterans. These moments are intentional. As second in line to the throne, George is slowly being introduced to public life. And with his teenage years beginning, the transition becomes even more significant. William understands this better than anyone. He grew up under intense media pressure. Now he and Catherine are trying to balance preparation with protection, guiding their children without overwhelming them. What we now see in their marriage. William and Catherine can no longer present a perfectly polished fairy tale. What people see now is something more real. They are hands-on parents. Their children come first. During Catherine's illness, William stepped in completely. School runs, hospital visits, daily support. He handled it all. He didn't rely on royal staff. He showed up as a partner. Catherine, in turn, found strength through creativity, through quiet moments, through support from William. She described the experience as life-changing. Together, they had to rebuild a new normal. And by 2026, that reality became clear. They are no longer shaped by royal expectations alone. They make their own decisions. They've faced illness, scandal, pressure, and public scrutiny. And they chose each other through all of it. Not out of duty, but by choice. That's what makes their bond different. For years, they controlled their image carefully. Calm, composed, untouchable. But that image has changed. Now, people see Catherine as a survivor, and William as a man who chose family over duty when it mattered most. Together, they are shaping a monarchy that feels more human, more real. They're no longer hiding who they are. And maybe they don't want to anymore. If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe, share your thoughts below, and let me know. Are William and Catherine the royal couple the monarchy needs? See you next time.